Have you ever looked down at your ankles and thought, wait a minute, were they always this swollen? Maybe it starts off subtle, just a little puffiness by the end of the day, or sock lines that seem deeper than they used to be. But then, it happens again, the next day, and the day after that. Before you know it, walking feels heavier, your shoes are tighter, and you're wondering if this is just part of getting older. But here's what many people don't realize. Swollen legs after 60 aren't something to shrug off. They can be a sign that your body is struggling in ways you can't see. And if ignored, that swelling can lead to some serious consequences. Things like chronic pain, trouble walking, skin that breaks open and doesn't heal, or even infections that keep coming back. For some, it marks the slow start of losing independence. One step becomes more difficult than two. And suddenly, things that used to be simple, like going to the store or walking the dog, start slipping away. That's why in this video, we're going to talk about 4 hidden reasons your legs may be swelling after 60 and what you can actually do about them. These causes aren't always obvious, and they're not always explained in a regular checkup. But knowing them can help you take back control, feel better in your body, and move through your day with confidence again. If you want to understand your body better and find simple, easy-to-implement solutions that help reduce swelling, keep your legs strong, and make walking feel easier again, please comment below with the number 1. Or comment number 2 if you're feeling unsure or even a little scared because your legs are changing and you don't know why. This helps us understand what you're going through, so we can keep sharing things that truly support you. Now, let's begin with the first hidden cause, your veins. As we get older, the veins in our legs work harder to do the same job. Their main task is to push blood back up toward the heart. But here's the catch. They have to do it against gravity. To make that happen, our veins have tiny little valves inside them, like one-way doors, that keep the blood moving upward. When those valves are strong, everything flows smoothly. But over time, they can wear out. They get a little weak, a little leaky. And when that happens, blood starts to collect in the lower legs. This is something called chronic venous insufficiency, and it's a lot more common than people think, especially after 60. The problem is, it creeps in slowly. It doesn't always hurt right away, so we brush it off. But when blood pools in the legs, it pushes fluid out into the surrounding tissues. That's where the swelling comes from. And if that pressure continues every day, your skin can stretch out, become fragile, and even break open. That puts you at risk for ulcers, infections, and a slower healing process overall. I once spoke with a woman named Ellen, 69 years old, who told me her legs started feeling unusually heavy in the evenings. She said her slippers didn't fit anymore, and her lower legs looked shiny and tight. For months, she thought it was just getting older, but one day, she got a blister on her shin that turned into a sore and wouldn't heal. Her doctor finally diagnosed her with venous insufficiency. It was a wake-up call. Once she understood what was going on, things began to change. She started wearing compression stockings daily, elevating her feet a few times a day, and walking for short intervals instead of sitting for long stretches. Within 2 weeks, the swelling improved. More importantly, that sore on her shin finally healed. And so did her confidence. She said, "I wish I'd known sooner. I could have saved myself months of discomfort." So if you've noticed your legs swelling more than they used to, especially toward the end of the day, or if your feet feel tight in your shoes, or your skin looks stretched and shiny, your veins could be the reason. And the good news is, this is something you can do something about. Now, while weak veins are one of the most common culprits, they're not the only reason your legs may be swelling after 60. In fact, sometimes the very things we're doing to help our health, like taking our medications every morning, might be quietly working against us in this area. It might sound surprising, but certain prescription drugs can actually cause fluid to build up in your lower legs. Not because they're bad medications, but simply because of how they interact with your body as you age. Our metabolism slows down, our circulation changes, and what once worked smoothly can now have unexpected side effects. One of the most frequent offenders: blood pressure medications. Specifically, a type called calcium channel blockers. These are often prescribed to older adults because they help relax blood vessels and lower high blood pressure. But here's the trade-off. While the blood vessels relax, they also let more fluid seep out into the surrounding tissue, especially in the lower legs. And for some people, this can lead to noticeable swelling in the ankles and feet. It happened to a gentleman named Frank, 72, who started a new medication a few months after his retirement. At first, he didn't notice much, but over time, his socks were getting tighter, and his walking shoes felt uncomfortable by late afternoon. He thought maybe he'd just been spending too much time in the garden, or that his salt intake was too high. But when he mentioned it at a routine checkup, his doctor took a closer look at his medication list, and there it was. That little pill that was helping his heart was also quietly making his legs balloon. Thankfully, it wasn't something he had to live with. His doctor adjusted the dosage and suggested he take the pill at a different time of day, with food. Within 2 weeks, Frank noticed a difference. The swelling began to ease, his energy returned, and he even went back to his morning walks, which he'd started avoiding because his feet felt too tight. Sometimes it's not about stopping a medication. It's about finding the right balance and timing so it works with your body, not against it. And it's not just blood pressure meds. Anti-inflammatory drugs for arthritis, hormone treatments, even some diabetes medications can all affect how your body retains fluid. That's why it's so important to pay attention to the timing of when symptoms started. If the swelling began shortly after a new prescription was added or changed, it's worth asking about. This isn't about blaming your medications. They're often essential. But it's about recognizing that your body is constantly giving you signals, and swelling, especially in the lower legs, is one of those signals that shouldn't be brushed aside. If you notice it happening more often, or if it seems to come out of nowhere, take a closer look at your pill bottles. And don't be afraid to bring it up with your doctor or pharmacist. You're not being difficult, you're being proactive. Because the truth is, small adjustments can make a big difference. And in many cases, the fix is easier than you think. All it takes is a little awareness, a little courage to speak up, and a willingness to believe that your comfort matters. And while adjusting medication can make a big difference, sometimes the swelling continues. even after all the prescriptions seem just right. That's when it helps to take a closer look at something most of us don't think about every day: the health of our kidneys. You see, your kidneys do more than just help you pass water. They play a vital role in keeping the balance of fluids in your body. They act like a filtration system, removing waste, maintaining the right levels of sodium and potassium, and making sure you're not holding on to more water than you need. But as we age, the kidneys naturally become less efficient. For some, this change is subtle, but for others, especially those with high blood pressure or diabetes, it can happen quietly and cause all sorts of issues, including swelling in the legs, ankles, and feet. What makes kidney-related swelling different is that it doesn't always follow a predictable pattern. It might show up in the morning, stick around all day, or move from one leg to both. Sometimes, it's paired with other signs you might not even connect to your kidneys, like feeling more tired than usual, getting up multiple times during the night to pee, or noticing that your urine looks foamy or bubbly. These signs are easy to overlook, but together, they're like a whisper from your body saying, "Hey, something's off." I remember talking with a woman named Doris, 75, who had always prided herself on staying active. She'd walk every morning, drink her water, and eat what she thought was a balanced diet. But her legs started swelling in ways she couldn't explain. At first, she thought it was the summer heat. Then, she blamed it on salty soup. But after a few weeks, the swelling got worse. Her legs felt stiff when she tried to get out of bed, and she found herself dragging through the day with almost no energy. After a gentle nudge from her daughter, she went in for a full checkup. Her blood work showed that her kidney function had declined, not dangerously, but enough to affect her fluid balance. The good news? It wasn't too late. Her doctor worked with her to adjust her diet, reduce her sodium, and introduce a few new habits, like short leg massages and hydration spacing throughout the day. Within a month, she felt lighter, more rested, and most importantly, relieved to understand what had been going on. The truth is, our kidneys don't complain loudly. They just quietly fall behind on their job, and we end up carrying the weight, literally, in our legs. That's why it's so important to listen to those little signs. Swelling that doesn't seem to respond to elevation or movement, especially when paired with fatigue or changes in urination, deserves attention. You don't need to panic, but you do need to pay attention. Even mild kidney dysfunction can cause fluid to collect in the body, and left unchecked, it can contribute to more serious issues, like high blood pressure, heart strain, or ongoing fatigue that saps your joy. But with awareness, early testing, and some thoughtful changes, many people can protect their kidneys and feel a whole lot better without major medical intervention. Because feeling heavy, bloated, or swollen in your legs isn't just uncomfortable. It can chip away at your energy, your mobility, and your sense of control. And you deserve to feel in control. You deserve to walk with ease, to put your feet up at the end of the day, and feel light, not weighed down by something your body's been trying to tell you for weeks or even months. And even when your veins, medications, and kidneys all seem to be working fine, there's one more sneaky reason your legs might still be swelling. Something so ordinary, it's easy to miss. It's the way we sit. That's right. Long periods of sitting, especially in the same position, can quietly lead to swelling in the legs. And as we get older, many of us find ourselves sitting more than we used to. Whether it's watching the morning news, reading in a favorite chair, or working on a crossword at the kitchen table, the hours can slip by. And with them, so can the healthy circulation that keeps fluid moving out of our legs. When we stay still for too long, gravity takes over. Blood and fluid pool in the lower part of the body, especially in the feet and ankles. It doesn't take long before that puffiness sets in. At first, it may seem harmless, a little swelling that goes away overnight. But over time, it can build up, especially if you're not moving much throughout the day. That kind of chronic, low-grade swelling can make your legs feel heavy and stiff, and it can even start to stretch the skin in ways that leave it more fragile and prone to injury. But here's the good news. This is one of the most fixable causes of swelling. You don't need a gym or a fancy exercise program. Just breaking up your sitting time can make a huge difference. Standing up every 30 minutes, flexing your ankles, or taking a short walk to the kitchen or the mailbox can help your body reset and get things flowing again. I once met a man named George, 76, who told me he never thought much about his daily routine until he noticed his legs swelling every evening. All it took was a gentle change, setting a timer to remind him to stand and stretch every half hour. Within a week, the swelling had improved, and so had his mood. He said, "It's like I finally got my legs back." Because sometimes it's not about doing more, it's about doing differently. And a little movement can go a long way toward keeping your legs strong, light, and ready to carry you wherever life takes you next. So if your legs have been feeling heavier lately, if you've noticed swelling creeping in, even just a little, don't ignore it. Your body is speaking to you, and it's doing so with wisdom. Sometimes the signs are gentle, like the way your socks leave a deeper mark. Other times, they're harder to miss, like when walking becomes more of a chore than a joy. Either way, you deserve to feel good in your body, and you deserve answers that make sense. What matters most isn't that these things are happening. It's what you choose to do with the knowledge. Swelling in the legs might seem small, even cosmetic, but it's often pointing to something much deeper, something that, if caught early, can be supported, managed, and even reversed with the right steps. Whether it's checking in on your circulation, reviewing your medications, gently supporting your kidney health, or simply standing up a little more each day, it's never too late to take small steps that lead to big changes. You don't have to overhaul your life. You just have to begin by listening. And I want you to remember this: you're not alone in this. So many people over 60 deal with leg swelling quietly, unsure of what's normal and what's not. That's why these conversations matter, because when we share what we've learned, we help each other live better, fuller, more comfortable lives. So if any part of this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you experienced swelling in your legs? What helped you? What are you still trying to figure out? Let's make this a space of support, not silence. If you found this video helpful, Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps more people like you find this information. And if you'd like more gentle, practical tips on staying healthy, independent, and strong after 60, go ahead and subscribe. We're building something special here, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Take care of yourself. You've carried so much through life. It's time your legs felt a little lighter.